Alright, the first step in pressing the bottom bracket in is all of our bottom brackets go in from the non-drive side and press over toward the drive side. And let's go ahead and get this thing started nice and square, just like that. Look at it from every angle to make sure that it's going in nice and square, and then you can start pressing. It's imperative that you use the proper die system to go with the bottom bracket. Whenever you're doing an install like this, whatever you're driving with, it can only touch the outer race of the bearing. You should never use anything that presses on the inner race of the bearing. It will destroy the bearing. Whereas the outer race is just a steel ring that's pressed into the housing. It's exactly what you want to drive against. Driving a bottom bracket in should be a pretty uneventful process. Now, it can get a little bit out of alignment sometimes, like this, so you just want to square it up and then keep an eye on it the whole time. Now, we don't film this whole thing because watching a guy drive a bottom bracket in can be very tedious. But what we want to do is we want to stop. You're going to look at the instructions, of course. We're going to stop when the bottom bracket is not quite all the way in, because we want to take the press apart and do what's called a mid-drive inspection to make sure everything's looking good coming in through this side. So we just want to take a look all the way around to make sure that nothing's happening, like it's not trying to pick up some carbon and curl it up in there or something like that, and it's going in nice and straight, which it is. So we're going to go ahead and put retaining compound on this and continue. And I like to use a gloved finger. You can use an applicator, like I guess you could use a Q-tip or something, but I just like to use my finger and go ahead and get a thin coat of the retaining compound in there. All right, at this point we just need to drive it all the way in. We're going to hear some creaks and pops and stuff like that as the retaining compound begins to light off. You've heard me say it before, say it again. It's an anaerobic compound, so when we start excluding oxygen, it wants to pop like this, like that. That's normal. That's not the carbon fiber popping. That is the anaerobic sealing popping. Excuse me, that's the anaerobic compound popping as it's lighting off, and then I'm putting pressure on, it's breaking loose and moving. That's that popping sound. It's not the carbon. In our next video, we will install the crank.